Hello, my name is Ali Wakoviak, and this is my Trends Analysis Report for Franciscan University of Steubenville's Contemporary Issues course. Today I will be discussing three trends that affect education in general and PA Cyber in particular. The three trends are charters, vouchers, and choice, digital learning and technology, and personalized education. For each trend, I will first identify and describe the trend. Then I will discuss the trend, how it threatens the education system, and then how it threatens PA Cyber in particular. And then I'll talk about opportunities for the education system and then for PA Cyber in particular. And then I will discuss some recommendations or suggestions that I have for PA Cyber in regards to that trend. First, I'm going to talk about charters, vouchers, and choice. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a charter school is a tax-supported school established by a charter between a granting body, such as a school board, and an outside group, such as a group of teachers and parents, which operates the school without most local and state educational regulations so as to achieve set goals. Vouchers allow students to use public money to pay for their education at a private school. Choice allows students to choose which school they attend regardless of where they reside. Choice in education has developed much momentum over the past decade or so as the opinion of public school education has been on the decline. This momentum has caused the public school system to reevaluate itself as they now have competition where before there was none. School choice is redefining the education system. No longer are parents stuck sending their child to their neighborhood public school if they find it unsatisfactory, as they can instead send their child to a charter school of their choosing at no additional cost. Many public schools are facing smaller enrollments, thus less funding, and developing a bitter and resentful opinion of charter schools. As a result, they lobby strongly against charter schools. For the first time, public schools are facing competition, and underperforming schools need to develop and implement improvements if they want to maintain their enrollments. Another threat is that schools will now be held accountable and face consequences if they fail to meet state standards. If schools do not meet mandated standards, the state can close them rather than rebuild or restructure, since charter schools pose as a suitable alternative. Successful charter schools point out the shortcomings of the public school system. As PA Cyber is the oldest and largest cyber charter school in the state, its biggest threat is competition from other charters as they continue to grow and develop. Cyber charter schools especially. Just like the public education system now has competition when it didn't before, PA Cyber will have increasing competitors where it didn't before. Another threat for PA Cyber is funding. There is much opposition to cyber charter schools in the state, as many don't recognize our school as a real school. Or they feel that since our school lacks a brick-and-mortar schoolhouse, that the school doesn't need the same amount of funding and resources as a traditional school. In fact, many think the school should receive significantly less funding. School choice gives, quite forcibly, the public school system the opportunity to improve. For the first time, public schools need to reevaluate how they operate and to create ways to be competitive. Before the charter school movement, public schools did not need to do that. School choice gives PA Cyber the opportunity to grow. PA Cyber gives students the opportunity to receive a quality and diversified education without having geographic or financial restrictions. As more and more families hear about PA Cyber, they become interested in enrolling their children. Since most of our students attend school from their homes, enrollment can be almost limitless. In my opinion, the most exciting opportunity PA Cyber has is to continue to succeed and to be a model of success in the educational field. Every year, PA Cyber enrolls a large percentage of students who are below grade level. Their public schools gave them a disservice by passing them from grade to grade when they were not ready. PA Cyber then has only a few months to try to bring them up to grade level in order for them to do well on the PSSA. Our PSSA test scores are improving each year, which to me is an indication that we are increasing the competencies of those students who typically fail. While I don't think PA Cyber is able to do it in a few short months, I do think that over time students perform better than they would had they been left at their neighborhood schools. Successfully educating those students who have been failed by their public schools is the biggest and best opportunity that PA Cyber has. I recommend that PA Cyber ensure that they limit growth to make sure that they are able to continue to provide a quality education to all students. While PA Cyber is currently the best at what it does in the state of Pennsylvania, administration and staff must be careful not to get overconfident when making decisions. As funding from the government becomes less and less, PA Cyber needs to be creative to ensure that they continue to provide a quality education to every student who wants it. The next trend I will discuss is digital learning and technology. Bushel and Lopez found that now is the time to unleash the power of digital learning to customize and personalize education so all students can learn in their own style at their own pace. But what exactly does it mean to incorporate digital learning and technology in the classroom? Different people have different ideas of what it means to be technologically literate. For the computer novice, incorporating the use of the computer in the classroom would satisfy their definition of digital learning and technology. But the more experienced computer user might expect to find classroom blogs, social media, websites, and other Web 2.0 tools, as well as the use of smartboards and handheld devices incorporated into a student's typical day in class. In today's climate, I think students need to be exposed to as much technology as possible within the content area. Students need to be competent technology users if they are to compete in today's society. One threat that technology poses on the education system is the fear that it will eradicate the need for a teacher. At PA Cyber, we already enroll students in asynchronous courses in which students have little, if any, contact with an instructor, although one is always available to contact via email. Many students, instead of going to a teacher for answers to questions or for general knowledge about a topic, instead go to the internet as it has an endless supply of information. Another threat is that technology is expensive, and not all schools have the funds to acquire the technology needed to adequately educate students with them. This creates inequity among students from school to school. Schools who lack the funds to make technology available to their students graduate students who are unprepared for a technologically reliant society. Another threat is that technology evolves so quickly that it's hard for schools, especially those with less funding, to stay current. It is also hard to predict which technologies have staying power and which are fleeting. This fact makes many schools hesitant to invest too much money into technology because when they do, they want some guarantee that the technology they invest in doesn't quickly become obsolete. As a result, oftentimes the technology students do have access to is not the most current technology available. PA Cyber faces a lot of the same threats as the general education field does. PA Cyber also has to be concerned about the high cost of technology, especially when there is always a threat that the school will receive less funding from the state. They also need to be concerned that once they do invest in certain technologies, that the technology will be useful and that it will be used to enhance content learning and not just used for the sake of having technology in the classroom. Another threat is that because PA Cyber is a cyber school, many make the assumption that the school is on the cutting edge of technology. So in cases where we aren't, expectations then are not met. In many cases, we are. Students are provided with their own computer, printer, internet access, and in some cases even an iPad. And students and teachers use technology to attend class from their homes. However, not all teachers are at the same level of competency in regards to technology, so in some cases, PA Cyber classes do not use much technology aside from Illuminate. The opportunities technology brings to education are endless if technology is embraced and staff is adequately trained in how to effectively use it. Students have what seems to be a natural affinity for technology, and when schools effectively incorporate digital learning and technology in their classrooms, they will enhance student engagement by providing endless opportunities for enrichment. Schools can also provide distance learning for students who may need accommodations to their schedules. Technology provides many opportunities for PA Cyber, including the same opportunities already stated for education. Technology also gives PA Cyber the opportunity to provide a much larger variety of courses to their students because they are able to provide asynchronous courses. PA Cyber offers many more subjects at the high school level, so students can cater their course load with their own interests. Also, because we are able to offer asynchronous and synchronous courses, students are able to complete their coursework at a pace that is most fitting for them. While PA Cyber does incorporate and encourage technology use with all staff, there is some room for improvement. I suggest that PA Cyber make sure staff is adequately trained in new technology. In-service days should be designated for staff not only learn how to use software and hardware, but also how to effectively incorporate it into their classrooms. To mitigate costs, staff can lead training sessions as many staff are already using many tools in their classrooms. This should start immediately and be ongoing. While many students may know more about technology than some staff, that is not the case for all students. Many students come to PA Cyber with very little knowledge of how to use a computer and are then submerged into an online experience with no prior training. Teachers end up being computer or technology teachers on top of teaching their content subject. This system to me seems to be inefficient and for many students redundant. New students should attend a live virtual orientation that covers all of the basics: how to use Illuminate, Schoology, and Blackboard, how to use their printers, how to check email, and use the internet. Students should also be partnered with a student mentor who can be available for assistance and can show them the ropes. Many new students typically take a few months before they get completely comfortable with their technology, and that can interfere with their understanding of their coursework. The orientation and mentor can limit that. While new technology is purchased for staff and/or students, make sure that the recipients are educated about the intended purpose of that technology and how to use it. For example, I received an iPad in the spring and have yet to be told how to use it to enhance my classroom, and I haven't found such a use for it on my own. By being given examples of how to use the tool in the classroom, the tool can be implemented in the classroom much sooner. PA Cyber also needs to be careful that they are not purchasing technology just for the sake of being considered innovative and cutting edge, but instead because the technology presents the opportunity for enriching the student's educational experience. PA Cyber also needs to make sure that all staff and students have access to the same software to maintain consistency and compatibility. New software should be made available to all staff and students at the same time to ensure there are no document compatibility issues between users. When a teacher explains how to create a Word document, she should not have to explain how to do that on 3 different versions of the program. That is inefficient and in many cases confusing to the students. Finally, I'm going to talk about personalized education. According to Marks, many parents are beginning to worry that their children are not getting the personal attention they need to be prepared for the future. As funding cuts become more and more common and class sizes become larger and larger, the lack of personalization in classrooms may be one of the largest issues facing education. According to Tomlinson, personalized instruction enables the student to maximize their potential as well as take charge of their learning. Personalized education also means that the student can cater their course load to fit their needs and interests, also enabling them to take charge of their learning. In order for a school to be able to offer personalization, they need to be able to offer a variety of courses to their students. Lower income schools do not have the means to do this, thus their students are given a cookie-cutter curriculum. When I taught in a high school in North Philadelphia, there were very few options for students. The only elective course was art, and all students had to take and pass Geometry and Algebra 2 in order to receive the adequate number of math credits to graduate, because the school did not offer any other math courses. Most students in my Algebra 2 course were not ready for such a high level of math and therefore did not fit. Tomlinson suggests that if work is consistently beyond a student's reach, that student becomes more and more occupied with escaping danger or humiliation than with learning. Students at that school consistently did poorly on state tests, and I think because there was consistently no level of personalization in their course loads from early on, they had given up on themselves long before they had entered my class. The biggest threat for PA Cyber in regards to personalization is that since students attend school at home, they may at times feel isolated. If the student feels as though they are alone, then they will fail to establish trust with their teachers and their peers, which, as Tomlinson suggests, can inhibit student success. Developing closeness can be a struggle for teachers whose main means of communication with students is through the chat function in class and via email. Quiet students can easily remain unknown the entire year if the teacher does not make an effort to reach out to them. Teachers may have an easier time tailoring their teaching style to fit the needs of their students when they are able to have face-to-face interactions with them and to physically observe them. As already discussed, the cyber school poses some limitations for personalized instruction. However, they also possess some opportunities. The chat feature in Illuminate gives students the opportunity to communicate with their teacher without being face-to-face. In many instances, that allows the student to be more candid and honest about issues they wouldn't typically mention to a teacher. Also, all families are assigned an IS who maintains a bi-weekly contact with them. This allows for a level of closeness with families that is not an option with other traditional schools. As the instructional supervisor keeps close tabs on his students, it is hard for a student to fall through the cracks. If a student is struggling, the teacher and the instructional supervisor are able to identify that as well as provide the student with supports and accommodations as they need it, and not after they have already failed. One of the great attributes that PA Cyber possesses that other schools do not is the level of personalized education that they are able to provide. The curriculum is personalized. The IS maintains a regular contact with the families, and the teachers are able to know their students through many features of Illuminate. I recommend that PA Cyber continues to prioritize personalized education by continuing to provide a variety of courses both synchronously and asynchronously. However, while all of the required courses at the high school level are offered asynchronously and synchronously, not as many of the electives are offered synchronously. This fact seriously limits the options for our students who need or prefer to take their classes synchronously. I suggest that PA Cyber develops and offers more synchronous elective courses. I also suggest that in order to continue to maintain the same level of closeness with PA Cyber families and students that they are accustomed to, that PA Cyber does everything in their means not to increase the number of students per class or the amount of families in an instructional supervisor's caseload. All schools are facing financial cutbacks by the state, and PA Cyber is no exception. An easy way to save money is to add a few more students to a class or to a caseload. PA Cyber needs to remember that by doing that, they run the risk of becoming impersonal. Smaller class sizes also better enables teachers to personalize instruction by using the theories of multiple intelligences and by knowing their students, which according to Marx are essential to personalization in a school. This concludes my trends analysis report. For this report, I referred to the works of Bushell and Lopez, Marx, Merriam-Webster, and Tomlinson. Thank you.